Hi, everybody. It's going to be a great episode. Travis is already mad at me. Welcome to Small Town Big Gays. We are the gays who are too big for how small of a town this is. I'm Chance.
And I'm annoyed with Chance. My name's Travis.
And I'm going to kill myself. My name's Chance again. And in between us today is a very special guest who's been waiting his turn to come on the pod since the inception. You were one of the first people who emailed us.
Really?
About being on the pod.
Interesting.
And I ignored it. It's Benny.
Hello.
Wow.
Benny Nyland.
Chance ignoring emails. Shocker.
I'm going to fucking kill you and then myself. I have a Reiki appointment on Thursday. I'm very excited. How are you, Benny?
I'm doing fine. That question is really hard to answer a lot of times, especially now. So today I'm fine.
How are you, Chance? How was your week?
Great.
Yeah?
My week was very busy, but good. I think.
Those of you who are watching the YouTube video, Chance has some new glasses
I do have some new glasses. They're round, Harry Potter looking ass. How are you? How's your week?
My week was good. Was busy. I went on a haunted hayride this weekend. That was fun. Also, Diet Coke released their vintage Diet Coke Lime.
Love that.
And I'm obsessed right now. So, good week. Benny's here. Let's talk about Benny.
Hi, Benny.
Hi.
Welcome to the pod. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being an avid listener.
I do. I listen every week, actually.
Thank you. Let's dive right in.
Okay.
Where were you born?
Spooner, Wisconsin.
How was that? How was being born?
I don't remember.
Oh, well. How was growing up in Spooner, Wisconsin?
Awful. It's a tiny little, it's 2,500 people.
Mm-hmm.
I know the names of every person that I graduated with.
Do you still remember all of their names?
If I really sat down and thought about it, probably.
Okay.
Is that like where you were like born and raised? Like most of your life was spent there?
Born and raised. We spent a couple years in Madison, 1 year in Texas, but for the most part, yeah.
What did you do for fun? Like what does one do in Spooner, Wisconsin? I know like of Spooner, but I can't say I have. There's a big rodeo there, isn't there?
Yes, every summer.
Should we go to the rodeo?
I mean, there's hot cowboys.
Oh, I love hot cowboys.
Yeah.
So what did one do in Spooner growing up then?
Before you were old enough to drink, we'd go to the park and hang out until the cops busted us. Drive around. Not a whole lot. We could go to the movies. There was nothing in Spooner, so we would go to Rice Lake or even come to Eau Claire and hang out at the mall.
So when did you like leave Spooner then?
I attempted it at 19 and then I had to come back because I had twins and I needed support from my family. And then we left again. We moved to Chippewa when the twins were about 8. Went back to Rice Lake actually. Met Jim and then we moved here.
How did you and Jim meet?
We actually knew each other well before we got together, but I had just broken up with the twins' dad and I was not ready for a relationship. And then just things we met each other back and forth. And then finally I was staying with a friend in Rice Lake and I ended up going out to the bar with her and I'm not going to tell the whole story because it's kind of dirty.
Okay. All right.
But we ended up spending the night and just never stopped seeing each other.
Okay.
Aww.
Good old Rice Lake, huh?
Yeah, Rice Lake.
For those listeners who don't know, Jim is Benny's husband.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So is that when you kind of got involved in theater and stuff then, or?
Roughly. My sister wanted to audition for a show and she didn't want to do it by herself, so she dragged me along.
Okay.
What was the show?
Sleeping Beauty.
Did you get the part?
I got a part. It was fine.
I feel like theater was kind of like your gateway into everything.
It was my jumping off point.
Yeah. Okay. Were you always like interested in theater, or was that something you had thought about before, or was that?
No, I've been doing theater since I was 5.
Okay, I was gonna say I feel like you're a theater person through
I
and
am.
through. Okay, so when was like your first experience? Again, for listeners who may not know, Benny is a drag performer here in the Chippewa Valley. When was your first time like experiencing drag and seeing that?
So actually, it was through theater. I was doing Sister Act. No, I was doing 9 to 5 with the Theater Guild.
Okay,
and Ophi always asks us to do a number to, promote. So I was there and I met all of everybody that was there. And I don't know, I just fell in love with it.
now we haven't done that one in a while, but that's because Ophi doesn't care about us anymore.
Oh my gosh.
I've never even met her.
And that was kind of like your first like just experience with drag, or did you actually do drag at that point?
No, that was my first experience with drag. I mean, I knew it existed, but living in a tiny town, it's taboo.
Yeah. Very, very true. How many years ago was that?
Oh, 9 to 5, 10 years ago.
Like, what was kind of your journey into like getting into that and doing that and realizing it was something you were interested in?
I then did Sister Act, so I played the main character in Sister Act, and again did a song for that one at Real Queens. And Colby Mitchell, who is now my drag brother, he asked me if I ever thought about doing Drag King, and I didn't know that was a thing until he asked me. So I did a ton of research, and I dove in, and I was like, yeah. So I started doing boys shows with them.
It's so crazy. It's always so funny to me, like how obviously I did all the Real Queen shows, and I don't remember any of this because you get like so wrapped up in like your own performances and your own things going on that I was like, I don't even remember this at all.
Well, in my real life, I'm very introverted. I just sit in the corner and wait for my turn.
Yeah, you are very quiet usually. I feel like in that time period, there was always a lot of like extra people around. Mm-hmm. Like, we had a lot of the boy backup dancers. We had the Nyland clan. I feel like there was just a lot of people running in the circles then, so it was like easy to I probably got overwhelmed and sat in a corner and didn't talk to anyone myself too.
You get it.
So that's what I do. Mm-hmm. At that time, we had our regular drag shows, and then we also had a group of male performers that were doing their own separate shows as well. There was a lot of drag happening at this point, and
I really missed the best era, didn't I?
I don't know. It's evolved. It's still not bad.
It's evolved and it's great, but it just feels like there's,
Well, I think it was just different because we only had one space at that time too. You know, so it just caused there to have to be a little bit of a difference, I guess. And then I think there was I think it was just more people were out and being social, and so I don't know if everyone that was like really involved in doing shows, whether that be backup dancers or even if they were performers themselves, were like necessarily passionate about it, but they just did it as a social outlet too.
Yeah.
People who are passionate about it have like long-term withstood that. And I mean, I get obviously like people move in different directions of their lives and different things, and they could have been passionate short-term, but I think it was just a different time of things and what we did to be social with each other.
Yeah,
before the apps.
Yeah.
Well, we would even go out and drag on not show nights.
Yeah. Prior to that period of time, when I first started drag, was kind of the end of another period where there was Drag Kings shows in Eau Claire, and there was a pretty active group of Drag Kings who had their shows. And then it felt like there was quite a long period of time without really any representation of Drag Kings at all. What was your experience with Drag Kings? Like, what made you want to like get into that? You said you did research. Like, what were you finding? What were you doing?
Well, I found out that Drag Kings have actually been performing a lot longer than many people even know. Just, it was an outlet. A lot of the reason that Drag Kings started wasn't actually performing. It was so that they could be in spaces safely, not as women. And it just turned into performing after that.
Yeah. So who were some of like your inspirations? It doesn't necessarily need to be Drag Kings, but like who kind of inspired you to get involved in the drag?
It wasn't anything really where I looked to somebody. I like a lot of hip hop and that kind of artistry because it's flashy. And I'm not the best dancer in the world, but I like the music because it just gets people involved.
Yeah. Well, as a dancer myself, I cannot relate to that.
I love the bend and snap move.
Someone said that I look arrogant and that I walk around and just am pretty and just expect people to give me money by being
did you
pretty.
Say that?
I don't think I said that.
He did not say
I was
that.
like, whoa.
And for a second it caught me off guard and I was like, oh, that's like kind of mean. But then I was like, you know what? That's actually really what I do.
It is.
And like,
it's pretty accurate.
Here's the thing. I know I'm not a fucking dancer.
Same.
I'm not going to pretend to be. What made me think of that is we are getting ready for this big Drag Me Out show, which Benny is a part of.
Yeah.
And that a lot of our icons are very nervous about performing, which rightfully so. It is nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Benny and I were talking about this before filming of still feeling the nerves. Like, I think for me, like the reason I act like that and confidence is like that's like part of my character and what helps me like feel better about going out there is like, and I've been trying to explain this to the icons of like, I go out there and I pretend everyone wants to have sex with me. Like, I really in my head believe it. I believe I could get anyone in that bar.
Yep.
Male, female, they, that, I don't care what it is. I believe that they all want me. You have to exude a certain amount of confidence and have a level of delusional.
Agreed.
To like survive and thrive in this.
Yes.
We were talking about who, if anyone specifically inspired you, and you said it was more just kind of like a
genre.
I
mean, I'll go outside that genre, but I love hip hop because I love how it just energizes a crowd, if you will.
Do you think like doing theater and stuff like all played a role in the stuff that in like your drag, or do you think like it's two kind of separate worlds for you?
It's a little bit of both. They'll bleed in. Like with the Drag Me Out, I'm doing a theater number.
Yeah.
And I will use my drag confidence on stage in theater if I'm feeling closed off.
So how did you pick your name, and what made you decide to get involved in a drag family?
So I chose my name because after all the research I did, I was like, well, I want something that's kind of funny. So my original drag name was going to be Ben Eaton. We were hanging out with another Ben at the time, and I wanted to differentiate. So I said, just call me Benny. So that's why I go by Benny now. And then I added the Nyland because they had asked me to be a part of their family. I love being part of a family. I mean, we kind of have spread out now. But yeah, I mean, having a family, it's once you come out, sometimes you lose your family, so you build your own.
Yeah. I'll just speak truthfully and stuff. There was definitely some tension between my drag family and your drag family.
Yep.
Sometimes I think in a good way, like I think there's like a good like competitiveness. I don't know if that's the right word. Yeah, like there was definitely like a healthy thing about it to some point, but there was also just my drag children are demons. 2016 to 2000. Well, it was probably like 2015 to like 2018, 19 was it was a rough, not a rough time. It was just a very wild time. The wild west.
I just missed it.
You did.
But you know what? Makeup was really great then. I have been looking back at pictures, and I used to fucking wear makeup, and I loved it. It was fun. I feel like that was like a really golden era of drag in general, and just like a really golden era of drag in the Chippewa Valley, just because, I don't know, it was really fun. There was a lot of us. We were doing a lot of different things. But it's just different now, I guess. How do you feel about being abandoned by your drag mother? I'm just kidding. I think she listens to the podcast. I'm pretty sure she does. And if she wants me to listen to her podcasts that are 2-hour-long episodes, she better start listening to this one. So this will be my test to see if you're listening, bitch. Okay, so doing drag and all of this, I'm assuming that's when you kind of started coming to terms with yourself, or have you like always kind of known, or did that kind of like be a catalyst to help you kind of self-identify? How did that kind of journey begin?
So I always knew there was something different. Like I was in the military. I hung out with the guys. Like I was.
You were in the military?
Yeah. How did we skip over this? I mean, I think I know that, but I always like forget about it.
Well, I don't like to announce it. It's not like I was in the military. Feel bad for me. I didn't ever go to war. So in the military and like even in high school, I was part of the guys. I wanted to play football. I wanted to be there with the guys. So I knew there was something different, but I didn't know what it was. Because again, small town, you're not really
privy to that.
Yeah, you don't understand what it is. And working, I finally, when I got the job at student health service at UWEC, UW Eau Claire, for those who don't know. Yeah. They were doing hormone therapy for some of the students. And I said, what is that? And then whenever I started doing drag, I realized that I'm more comfortable as a man. I used to be upset when I have to get out of drag.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so I just realized, well, this is dumb. Live your life. And, you know, what? Throw the chips, and wherever they fall is wherever you're going to be.
Yeah. Was it kind of like a slow process for you, or did you kind of just...
In my head, it was very fast, but I had to do it in steps because I was married and my husband married a woman.
Yeah.
You know, we have kids and all the things. So I didn't want it to be like, hey, by the way.
Yeah.
So, but, I mean, for, you know, when I started drag, I knew.
Yeah.
And I would kind of go out and drag and enjoy being him all the time. And then I came out, it was the last year before COVID, I came out at Fireball, socially, completely, publicly.
Yeah.
We did videos about what pride means to us. And I did a video about what it meant. And I said, and now I am a trans man. And it was a special moment. My kids got to see it and everything.
Yeah. How was the reaction from like family, friends, your children?
My kids were just like, well, as long as you're happy, what do we call you? I said, you can still call me Mom if you're comfortable with that.
Because you got twins that are older.
Right. They're 22.
22. So they were probably like what, 17, 18 at the time?
16. It was 6 years ago. So they,
later teens.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you also have another child who's quite a bit younger, right?
He's 8.
8. So at the time would have been like...
Oh, he was baby.
So your youngest child has always just known you as Benny?
For the most part.
Yeah?
I mean,
Okay.
he was talking when I came out.
Okay.
So all my kids call me Mom, but I feel like I've earned that title. I carried them.
Okay. And that doesn't feel like weird to you or anything?
No.
I feel like a lot of like, at least from what I've experienced with like trans people in person and then trans people online, is most of them keep the like that title. Like if the mom, dad, whatever it was when they had the children, that's what they keep for their children, which I think is great. And if it works for you, it works for you. And that's who you are to them.
It makes sense. And I like that you said you've earned that, because you did.
Yeah. I have the tiger stripes to prove it.
I have those too, but they're not from children, unfortunately.
I was going to make the same joke.
I really, like, to me, I have no recollection of you before Benny. Like, you've always just been Benny to me.
Yeah.
Did they, like, has anyone, like, had any weird reactions to it? Has it all been pretty supportive? I guess, like, it's probably also none of your business. You're just going to live your life.
I mean, those that are supportive are supportive.
Yeah.
It's kind of been split with my classmates, my extended family. Most of them kind of wrote me off.
Okay.
Which, again, I have a family. I built my own family. My mom is still there. My kids, my sister, my brother decided to kind of go the other way, which that's his choice. Whatever. Yeah. Some of my cousins still support me, but for the most part, my extended family just kind of backed away.
I feel like there's so many people, like especially closeted trans people, and I feel like we have a very large community of it here in this area for as small of a place as it is. And I experience a lot of it like on the apps, and I know like a lot of people are always like, you're always on the apps, and like, don't get me wrong, we're all on the apps for a very specific reason, and I do get that, but I also do have just a lot of people who ask a lot of questions and things, and I know we'll get into this more with you about the questions and things like that, but so we have a large community of people who I feel like identify as trans and things, but like are afraid to come out because of the consequences of having family may not accept them, or a significant other, or children and things like that. So like I can understand where it's like a scary thing of feeling like you could lose that potentially and not have that. Do you feel like you would have any regrets of that, or is living your true authentic life just totally outweighed anything that you could ever imagine in that way?
I think living my true authentic life is way more outweighing, because I was very depressed. I had very specific ideations that I don't know if I can say that word on the podcast, but
yes, I think we know where you're going.
So,
yep.
I think my kids are better off because I'm still here.
Yep.
The family that still supports me, we're all better off because I'm still here. And that's not to say that I'm a super important thing in everybody's lives, but I think as a human, you're better off alive with the people that love you, as few as they may be, than a lot of people that love you and you don't get to be you.
Yep. I think about that a lot, of people who just continue to be around these people because they're so worried about hurting them that instead they're just hurting themselves.
Right.
And it's just like, there's just got to be something so freeing about just being able to be who you are always meant to be, and what that is, and just coming to terms with that. And I think the right people in your life will find you. And if those people aren't in your life right now and they seem like they're the most important people to you, there's far better things waiting for you beyond in the distance that you can't even see right now, I think.
Yep. And you have safe people that you can come to.
We talked about like extended family and their reactions. What was Jim's reaction? Because you were already married at this time.
So it was a very interesting thing. When I started drag, he's like, well, you're not going to be a man, are you?
What do you think now, Jim?
And at the time I was like, no. Because again, I wasn't very well versed in transgender beings. And so, no, this is just another outlet, which it actually, drag is an outlet for me. As I got more comfortable, I said, well, how would you feel if I was a man? And his biggest thing was, well, as long as you don't get rid of your downstairs parts, I guess I can live with it. Okay. He identifies as a straight man. He said that I'm the only man he'll ever be gay for.
Okay.
Cute one.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's fair. And like, the thing about it is you have to be respectful of those decisions. And, like, I think you had to probably come to terms of like, if I say this to him, there could be divorce or breakup, I think it is hard to sometimes, like, as queer people, it takes us so long to come to terms with who we are ourselves, that to just expect people to immediately be comfortable with that and to understand it is kind of like, I don't want to say ridiculous, because I feel like a lot of people can just like immediately be like, okay, that's fine, but like I feel like we need to give people a little more grace sometimes too, of like understanding where we're coming from. I think it's a journey for them too, just like it is for us.
Process as well.
Okay, so for the most part, it seemed like it was a pretty decent transition, no pun intended.
The people closest to me made it very easy. Easier than I know other people have had it. Okay.
And then, like where you needed to fill in the gaps, you found your chosen family and those people. And we're from a small town, and even we talk about Eau Claire, even though it's not like a small town, it's still a small city compared to, the bigger places where there's resources and people in a larger community of things. So I know you probably get a lot of people. I can speak for myself. I get a lot of people asking me questions all the time about like, well, how do I start this journey? Where do I go for hormones? Who do I talk to? What do I do for this? You're probably one of the most, and this happens doing drag and being a community character. I don't know that word,
I'm a character.
And like you do theater and stuff. So like you're very well known in the community, which leads to people thinking that they have access to your life. There is the certain part of responsibility where, as a public figure, we do have to explain some of those things. Do you feel overwhelmed by like all the questioning and things you get? Like, do you feel overwhelmed being like such an out trans man? Because you don't really have a choice not to to just live in the closet and like be, I don't know if stealth's the right word, but stealth, be stealth and just kind of like blend in because of being a public figure.
I have breakdowns every now and then. Like I used to do voice lessons with Adam Makala, and a couple summers ago, I had a breakdown during lesson because he asked me how I was, and I was like, I am so sick of being the token trans man, and I can't handle the questions anymore. But for the most part, I like educating because education makes things less scary. So I don't mind it usually, but a lot of times I'll tell people to message me so that I can get back to them on my own terms.
Right.
And I think that is important to like remember for people in like your situation. Is like you're a person too, and you're happy, I'm sure, to be like a resource for people, but also it's fucking exhausting.
Sometimes it is.
I think all three of us can attest to that fact, that it is exhausting to be so visible, I guess. Not to toot our own horns, but
yes.
Beep.
Yeah, and I can only assume that like some of the questions that you get asked are fairly personal questions that may not always be comfortable to talk about and quite frankly want to talk about. I know people act very entitled to those conversations, and I know specifically right now the trans community, not specifically right now, since the beginning of time has been a target of mainstream social media attacks and things like that. I feel like especially in the past 5 years or so, it's really been strong because it's unfortunately a small group of people within an already segregated small group of people, and it's an easy target. There's just so much neglect of information because they just don't know anyone, you know, and it's not fair to be someone and have to be that for everyone too, so like I can imagine what it's like to constantly be like, oh well, let's talk about trans people, and then be like, oh well, Benny's a trans man, so like he's like the one person we can go to get all the answers and know that. But it's like, you're just a person living your life. You don't have all the answers.
No, and my journey is different than the next person's journey.
Exactly. Kudos to you for being out and being open and being that for a lot of people. I know that's probably not easy, for sure.
Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's fun. Sometimes it's rewarding.
Yeah.
What are the most like asked pieces of advice, maybe for like gabies
Yes.
or
they want to
trans
know
babies?
They want to know. So
Trabies?
it's two different sections of people. I'll get the little baby trans people, and then I will get parents of those baby trans people. And the biggest questions are, where do I get a binder? How do I start on hormones? What kind of a doctor do I see? Do they need a psychologist? Things like that.
I feel like that's, for me, it's always a lot of parents
Yes,
asking a lot of
many
questions,
parents.
which is good. I'm glad that parents are feeling comfortable to have those conversations and want to find the support for their children. Because my God, I can't even imagine my parents doing that. Like, I can almost guarantee my parents would have never reached out for anyone asking for help or resources, or like even like, I don't know, getting me involved in theater as a kid, or like an art program, or like, like all these kids are doing like rock climbing classes and tumbling classes and all this shit. I was like, my parents would have never done any of that for me.
I think it's great that they are like, the parents are reaching out to people like you two instead of fucking Googling it. I mean, I'm sure they're also Googling it, but God knows they could fall down the alt-right rabbit hole on YouTube just like their fucking children might be.
Yeah. A lot of times we talk about good experiences because those are the things we want to focus on, and we don't want to focus on the negative. But I think we do need to talk about the reality of what it is to be a trans person in a small community. Can you, if you're comfortable sharing, and if you're not, that's totally fine, and we can move on past this, but do you feel like you have to try and be stealth in the community for your own safety? Like, how do you feel navigating day to day as a trans person in this community?
Sure. For the most part, I stick to very specific places, but like if I'm in public, like I'm at Walmart and I have to use the bathroom, that is my biggest one, is the bathroom, because I can't stand up.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I will plan my trips so that I can go into the all family bathroom.
Yeah.
Or, things like that. And the pool is another one. I haven't gone swimming in years.
Yeah.
Because I haven't had top surgery yet, because it's really fucking expensive. And so I have to wear a binder and a tank top, and that kind of gives me away. So those are, the situations that give me away are the ones that really are scary, because like a place like Walmart, it's very mixed company. And if I'm using a public bathroom, are they going to clock me? And then I might not make it out of that bathroom. And a lot of times I have my son with me, and what's he going to do? And are they going to take him? Those are things that I have to think about every day. And, if I travel out of state, is it a state that they are okay with trans people? Because if they're not, then I really have to super plan and be stealth.
That's got to be tough, like just mentally and emotionally, to have to like, it's tough enough just to be a human day to day, and then to add that to the navigation system is a lot. So it's very overwhelming, I'm sure, to think about that. Have you had any specific situations in this town that like have made you feel uncomfortable? Are there any like places or anything that like as a trans person you avoid because of certain situations or anything like that?
Most bars that are not specifically out about being LGBTQ friendly, I won't go into them unless my friends drag me in there. I have had one actually at our local bar. I had one instance where I was with another person, and I'm not going to out them, but you know them very well. We were using the bathroom, and they don't have a lock on the men's bathroom, and the women's bathroom was just a line out the door.
Yeah.
So we went in the men's bathroom, and they were holding the door so I could use the bathroom, and then vice versa. Well, while I was going, a guy started trying to push the door, and he got in both of our faces. And this is the thing too, like we went to the bouncer, and the bouncer was like, well, just stay away from them. No, this is where we need to make a statement and say, we are not going to tolerate this kind of behavior, because he got into both of our faces and was going to beat us up and all sorts of stuff. And this was supposed to be in a place that was safe. And they let him stay there, and then he continued to talk trash. He stood right by us with his group and was talking about what he was going to do to me. And I think that we need to kind of be a little bit more conscious of that and make that statement of, we're not going to tolerate it. You don't get to be in our spaces if you're going to treat us this way.
Yeah, not kind of. It fully needs to. And I've heard this circumstance with specifically the bathroom issue quite a few times. And unfortunately, it's even happened with people who I'm close to and care about have done things that I don't approve of. And I've made my public stance on it many times and have shamed them. And I will continue to always do that. And that's the thing is, like, unfortunately, even a lot of our quote unquote safe spaces have caved.
Quote unquote
Have caved. And our trans community suffers at the helm of it 90% of the time. And that's why, like, I'm very passionate about advocating for the trans community, because I, like, sometimes in my own weird way of dealing with whatever my gender and sexuality is like, even though I don't identify as a trans person because I live my life as male, but I, like, feel under the umbrella of it. I don't know where I fit in. So, like, I'm very passionate about it, but also just because I see such unjust things happening constantly, that's why I'm always so loud about it, because I care. And even though, like, it doesn't directly affect me, I just don't understand how you could sit back and watch someone else suffering at such shitty injustice that we can literally do things as simple as, like, fixing the fucking bathrooms.
Put a lock
at your local fucking queer bar.
Hey, but that costs money.
I'll go do it.
You know what? Donate. I'll fucking have a fundraiser and make the goddamn $5,000 in one night. It's literally stupid. It's just excuse after excuse of bullshit after bullshit.
You can get a hasp from Menards and do it today.
Literally, yeah. It's just people don't care because it doesn't directly affect their lives.
Right.
God, where were we going? That was a tangent. Yes, creating safe spaces, especially for our trans people, feels like a big space of neglect. And so I'm sorry that you have to, like, go through day-to-day life just having things taken for granted. Like, don't get me wrong, I do think about the bathroom because I just don't like going in public, but I mean, to know that, like, I could easily just walk into a bathroom and not have to think twice about it, you know, like, that's a lot to think about. And I can't even imagine what it is to have to wake up day to day with those kind of minute thoughts.
Well, I know that, like, if you guys are in the space, I know that I'm fine, because even if something were to happen, I could come to one of you or any one of the drag community, honestly, and it would be fine. But if I'm on my own is when I get really nervous.
Right. But I mean, let's be honest, you live majority of your life alone, you know, like, you have to navigate those things quite often.
Yeah. Finding a place to work and being safe. I mean, that's...
Yeah. Yeah. It's a difficult time, and it's, you know, not easy being in a small town where, you know, you have to think about those things constantly in those spaces. Again, I say it on here all the time of, like, we're very lucky to live in a town that's, for the most part, pretty open, I would say. And if it's not, we've created a lot of safe spaces to have that, thankfully. And there's a lot of people on our side. So I know we kind of just, like, touched base on the negative experiences, but let's talk about, like, what great experiences you've had as a trans person in the community, whether that just be, like, having, like, some wonderful shows or, like, wonderful moments with any specific people, or, like, conversations you've had. Like, what are some, like, highlight moments you can think of being an out trans person? I
got to do a drag story hour at a church, which was amazing.
Yeah. At a church?
Yes. They're non-denominational, and they accept everybody. I just don't want to go to church anymore. I've had a lot of bad experiences with churches, so it's not my thing. But good on them. But they asked me because somebody I know was in the congregation, and they wanted to do that. And so my son got to come with me, and we sat through the service, and I did a drag story hour at a church, which I never thought I'd do. Did you have to read a book from the Bible? No. I'm just kidding. Could you imagine? Can you read Ezekiel for us today? No, thank you. No, it was a book about gender affirming, if I'm remembering correctly. Love that. Okay, so that's, like, your highlight, your top. It's one of my biggest things. another church asked me to help them with a gender and sexuality class for many years in a row.
Yep.
And that was a big deal for me. And these kids, they're teenagers, they need to know about sex.
Yeah.
And it was insane that it was at a church, but the church, they put it on like it was church sponsored. The parents took their kids and put them in this class. Just, and the pride shows in the park are always a highlight every year.
Yeah.
Every year.
Okay, so for those listeners who want to like understand more about the trans experience and things like that, like what are some great resources? What are some great guides besides just hitting up Benny on Facebook Messenger asking some really personal questions? Do you have like any advice or any places they can go?
Well, I'm actually considering, I didn't tell you this, but I'm actually considering opening a consulting business so that I can do this and be paid a little bit of money so that I'm not just using my mental spoons all the time.
Yeah.
But for parents, PFLAG and GLAD are two very good resources. Our local community center here in town is a great resource. They have youth nights and they have game nights and all those kinds of things, and they have places where you can get binders. They might even be able to, if you're low income, they can help you get a binder for low to no cost. Those are the big ones.
Yeah, those are the places, and those places can help you find resources as well.
Yes.
To those things that you need access. What would you tell to a trans person who is living in a small community somewhere like Spooner that is terrified to come out, whether they have a family or not? What would you tell them?
If you have to be in the closet to stay safe, stay safe. If you can use every single resource available to you to get out of that town to a bigger place, do it. You will be so much happier if you can live your true self, and you will find your community. We're out here.
What are your thoughts on, I feel like this is a really hot topic right now within the trans community itself, of passable and non-passable. What are your thoughts on that, and where do you like personally stand within that? Again, if you feel comfortable answering that. I know it's a hot.
It is very hot. I mean, within our community, our tiny little trans community, there are people that feel both ways. I don't feel like being trans means you have to be passable. If you're comfortable in your body and the clothes you wear and the makeup or no makeup and your hair and everything, and you're trans, then you're trans. I personally need to pass because I don't feel like my outside matches my inside unless I pass.
Is there a certain goal or a certain thing in mind that you feel like is going to get you to where you feel confident in that? Because I feel like sometimes we, just not even trans people, but people in general, would go like, if I just lose 30 pounds, if I just get that hair surgery, if I just get that lip filler. But I think what really matters at the end of the day is that there's really nothing that ultimately can do that unless it's a mental thing for yourself to like come to acceptance. Do you feel like you're at that place and now there's just like a couple things that will help you feel that way? Or do you just feel like no matter what, it's just always going to be like a mental thing for you? Does that make sense? I don't know if that
it does make
made any
sense.
sense.
It does make total sense. My biggest one is I want to get top surgery because then I'll be fine swimming. I mean, I'll have the scars, but those fade eventually.
Yeah.
I think once I get over that, and I can't speak to it because I don't know, but I think once I get over that, it'll just be small things like keeping facial hair and things, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I think that for me, that's going to be the one thing that's going to help me completely mentally, is getting that top surgery done so that my outsides truly do match my insides, because nobody needs to know what's in my pants unless I'm going to have sex with you.
Yeah. Going into the subject of sexuality versus gender, because I know that's also a thing a lot of people don't understand, is I think it coincides with each other. And I think for so many years, like I can just speak to my experience of like growing up in the drag world of like, it was like you were either a drag queen or you were trans. And if you're trans, then that means like you're either going from male to female or female to male. And then like once you're that, like if you're a female, once you're the female, if you were born male, now you transition to female, then that means you're only attracted to men. If you're comfortable discussing what you identify as and what made you like come to terms with understanding that sexuality and gender are two different things, and how you like come to terms with that all under one big umbrella of pictures, if that makes any sense with a very long explanation.
No, totally. I'm polypan, so
Bless you.
It gets a little confusing, but communication is key with the poly part. Pansexual does not mean that I am attracted to pans, so please stop making that joke. It's not funny and it's tired.
Oh, but bakeware's so nice.
Pansexual, the word pan means across the board. I can handle what you got in your pants.
What's the difference between pan and bi? We've had this discussion.
Yeah, so I think that bi is a little bit going to the wayside. Do you think?
What do you mean?
Like, bi was a thing before non-binary was very big in the community.
Yeah, I don't know if bi is not. Well, I guess I don't know if the kids use bi or pan more.
They don't really label themselves a lot anymore.
Yeah,
they just
they're so fucking annoying.
Here nor there. I digress.
No, yeah.
I mean, there are still people that identify as bi.
Yeah.
And that's, I'm not the keeper of who is gonna identify as what, but I started out identifying as bi, and then I said, well, it's hearts before parts, and so I can handle what you got in your pants. I don't. However you present is however you present. I fall in love with your mind and your heart.
I feel like there's some people who feel that bi is trans exclusionary or non-binary exclusionary.
Yes.
And that's like, I suppose that's all kind of like personal preference in terms of like whether you think that bisexual omits that. Like, I think it's trans inclusionary. Yeah, I guess bisexual, kind of just came about before like non-binary and two-spirit and all that was really more talked about.
Right.
So yeah, maybe bi is going by the wayside. I don't know.
I couldn't tell you for sure.
It's
so the LGBTQ
maybe.
The B.
It's mostly just a preference.
Yeah.
If you want to identify as bi, you can still be.
Absolutely.
It still includes, trans and non-binary people, unless it doesn't, in which case,
that's
it's a whole nother topic.
Yeah. I'm not going to argue it.
Yeah, I don't got time.
No.
Okay, so besides your affinity to bakeware,
Sorry. You're fine. What was this? I'm so off.
Okay, you were talking
there.
polypan. Okay.
Polypan.
Bless you.
Why do you keep saying that?
Keep saying what?
Gender is how you outwardly present yourself, and it's not even so you're born a certain sex based on your outward sexual parts, your genitals. But I present as male, but that doesn't mean that I am attracted to either females or males. It just means that's how I present. My sexuality is who I want to fuck.
And poly means that means you're open to dating.
We actually have relationships outside of our marriage. It's not, it's not like open relationships for me, at least, you'll have sex outside of your relationship, but you don't have an actual relationship with them.
Yeah, I would. Yeah. There's a difference between. I had to explain this to like a 20-year-old the other day. There's a difference between open and poly.
Yes.
Open, you fuck. Poly, you date.
Sometimes I'll just fuck, but yes, I'll have other relationships outside of my marriage as well, and he can too. It's both ways.
That sounds like a lot of work.
It is, but lots of communication. We have a lot of rules.
Yeah, see, poly does seem exhausting.
It can be. That's why sometimes I just want to fuck.
Yeah.
Glad I'm single.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought for years I wasn't, but I am. The more I am around people that are in relationships, I just feel sad for them. Is there anything else that you would like the people to know, or anything you want to share, or anything you feel like was left out about your story?
I don't think so.
What are you passionate about?
Education.
Okay.
A lot of education. It just makes things less scary.
Like elementary school, college.
In general, I love educating people on something that I know well. I love educating people on it.
What are your hobbies?
Theater, music.
What's your favorite color?
Blue.
What's your favorite thing about being a parent?
Watching somebody as a tiny little human, and you get to hopefully make them into productive members of society, and then watching them go do their own thing.
If you could make a dream cast of 5 performers besides yourself, who would they be? From any spectrum of...
Oh, gosh.
It could be local, it could be national.
Okay, let's see. Any performer in the entire universe.
Yes, you're picking your 5.
Oh, God. Okay. I think probably Jada Essence Hall, because she's friggin' hilarious.
Okay.
I would do Monica Bluebell, because she's not afraid to just do whatever. But we'd have to get her out of retirement. You, because, again, you don't take shit. And you keep a dressing room calm, and I love that. It's amazing. What do I have? 3? Okay. Felicia, because she dances like crazy, and people love that. And Zasha, because the same reason. She's got great energy.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You picked a lot more local people than I thought. I thought you'd reach out to...
No, I like... This is a weird thing about me, but I like local drag better than like RuPaul and...
Yeah. Who are some of your favorite drag kings? Or maybe let's go with just... They don't have to be drag kings necessarily, but just non-drag queen performers, because we talk a lot about drag queens. Let's talk about whether they are non-binary, male. Also, do you consider yourself a male entertainer or a drag king?
So this is a weird thing. I was told... So I did the state club pageant a few years ago, and I said that I still identify as a drag king because I still bind, and I still, there are certain aspects as a king that you still have to do. But the further and further I got into it, I'm like, during interview, one of the male entertainers was like, "You're a male entertainer." He put it on my sheet. He said, "You're a male entertainer. You do all the things you're supposed to do. You entertain the crowd. You identify as he, him. You embody male entertainment." So I don't know. It's a tough one because that's kind of a contention in the drag king versus male entertainer world too.
Yeah, I think I would assume you should be able to do whatever you want, because there's obviously like I don't know what they call them now, and I don't want to get canceled. Is it a bio queen or whatever? But
yeah,
people who are biologically female or present female day to day, whatever, are drag queens, and there's trans women who are drag queens.
Yes.
So that would make sense. So if you are a trans man or whatever, if you want to identify as a drag king, I think that that's also totally fine.
Yeah.
But do you think that there's a space for, well, I feel like that just fits into misogyny, though. Males just trying to get in everywhere they can. Because I was like, then could like someone, like if I, as a person born male, could I pretend to be a drag king and not a male entertainer?
I don't see why not, because again, there's drag queens that present female, so I don't see why not.
I don't know either. That's a weird sound off below. Let's get some conversation going and get people riled up. That'll be fun. Okay, so anyways, tell me some non-drag queens that you think are great or just know or would like to mention.
There is a drag king who lived in Superior last I knew, but I'm not sure. He might have moved out of state now. His name is Dominic, and he's so much fun, and he used to put together all drag king male presenting people in a show, and I've been in a couple of his shows. Amazing human and really great entertainer. He just knows how to rile up a crowd. I love him. Landon Sider, who won the
Dragula.
Thank you. Again, very much an entertainer, goes over the top, and I love that about them. They're just so amazing, and I strive to be something like that.
Yeah, their looks are amazing.
I do enjoy Taylor Ashton. I wish that I could dance like him.
I think we all wish we could dance like Taylor.
I wish I had his body.
I wish nothing to be like him. I hate everything about him.
Anything else?
I don't know. I feel like we covered an awful lot here.
A lot.
Yeah. Where can people find you? How should they find you on socials if you want them to?
Yeah, definitely. Facebook, I'm Benny Eaton Nyland. Benny is Benny. Let's see. Instagram is at BennyN_boo_boo. So Benny Boo Boo, but the N is after for Benny Nyland. And TikTok, I am the real Benny.
Benny, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Drag Me Out, November 15th at the Lismore Ballroom. Benny is one of our mentors, mentoring a local icon, being put in drag for the first time and performing a Springsteen song.
Yes.
Yep. So check that out, volume1tickets.org. And then search Drag Me Out. Get your tickets now.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
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 Small Town Big Gays is hosted by Travis Gorell and me, Chance Smith. Our music is 1am by TYB. You can check out his music. Links are in the episode description. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at STBG Pod. Find us on Facebook if you're a Facebook person. Email us at smalltownbiggays@gmail.com. And for more shit from me, Chance, go to strangehavens.com.
It's been nice to fall asleep again.